All right, I'm live and alive. And a great show today on the Majority Report. Whew, just in time. Welcome, 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 welcome. All right. Oh shit. All right, shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. We have an echo. Shit. Oh my god, we have an echo. Sorry, folks. I did not know we were gonna have an echo. Randy! Mize! Germ! Bosie! Welcome, welcome in! Welcome! Hang on, I gotta get these guys from the Majority Report over here. Randall Smith keeps asking me, who? Okay, yeah, okay, everybody, welcome in. Welcome in, everybody. So originally, I was going to do an Ask Me Anything, but I gotta turn you down. Shut the fuck up. But our good friend Andy Fitzgerald showed me something. Oh, Johnny Too Late at TV. Hey Joker, welcome in. Actually shared me something. She is part of an. Are you gonna be right back? Okay. Good shower to you. She actually shared me something with her health, her organization that's called UIC United. Oh crap! I've lost it. Crap. I'm sorry. Hold on. I'm trying to get my shit together. The UHCC, United Healthcare Citizen, the United Healthcare Commission. She shared me this last night on Discord, and I believe it's a great organization, and I wanted to share something. I wanted to share a video, but my fucking machine is acting up again. What in the hell is going on? I don't know what's going on. But anyway, yeah, she shared this. It's a great organization, and it is behind um, the stand up against the big bullshit bill that has effective health care for the disabled. I did have, welcome in Donald James X. I actually had two clips. One is from a special meeting roundtable, which is virtual, and two, I had something else. And she sent me a video of a short. But if you don't know what Whole Washington is what she's part of. It's a grassroots organization dedicated to universal health care. But I'm not the person to talk to. I'm just showing you these clips. I lost the damn thing. Because right when I set this up, this screwed up yet again. But I had another one in the virtue of a short. So what am I gonna do? Sorry guys. Okay, yeah. Okay, here we go. I'm so sorry. But I'm going to have, I'm thinking about this. I wanna have Annie Fitzgerald next week as a guest. Because I want you to hear from the horse's mouth herself. I want you to have the full explanation from herself. Uh, let's play Scandal. It's a fun game. Welcome to my wonderful mother. Thank you so much for coming out. Like I said, I want to have Annie Fitzgerald next week. Oh, shut up. Shut the fuck up. I don't want that to go. And I want her to explain about this. She said to me that this part, "Hey Annie, how are you? I'm just talking about your organization. And I might have you on next week with me. I'm thinking about it. I might talk to you on Discord." And she said that this thing is part of the one-payer states, United Healthcare Commission. She told me this last night on Discord. She also told me this, that she might be running again, this time as an independent. But I do have the whole story, but I really want you to hear from the horse's mouth herself. I do want to take advantage of the YouTube feature where you can invite a guest on the stream. So that's why I want to have Annie Fitzgerald next week. So I will link this website. It's called onepayerstates.org. And then I'll link the two videos that I'll show you next. And then I'll put in the whole Washington grassroots organization from her YouTube, grassroots on youtube.com. But first, I want to show you the actual short clip that she sent me. This is what she sent me. Get out of here. 1 second. Okay, this is what she sent me. If I could turn the lights off. I'll turn it on.
Due to disabilities and chronic illnesses, I've already had to personally crowdfund twice for healthcare issues. I speak to people with disabilities and chronic illnesses on an almost daily basis who are terrified of the cuts that are coming. A lot of people are going to die with these incoming cuts, so I feel like it's super important that the commission takes up this opportunity to discuss funding this as quickly as possible so that people don't have to be so worried and so scared of potentially losing their health care and possibly even their lives.
Want to have universal health care? Check us out at wholewashington.org.
She is right about that. And it's all thanks to the big bullshit bill. Uh-oh. What the hell's going on?
On the lower end.
Uh-oh. Fuck. And it's all thanks to the big bullshit bill, which is one of the reasons that affected the healthcare cuts for the disabled folks. For example, Annie Fitzgerald. That's why she's part of the grassroots organization Whole Washington. Oh no, my pleasure. I got the other video too. I got the UHCC advocate video. I might play a few clips. I might play a few portions of the video since it's like an hour 55. Um, because I want people to know um, about it. And I think you told me last night that you may want to run again as an independent. Then I'm also going to share this One Payer States website. Because originally today I was going to do an Ask Me Anything, but fuck it, I wanted to do this because it is very important. And it is, yes, Lucy encourages you to run again. And it is all thanks to the big bullshit bill. So now let me refresh this. And this is a 1 hour and 55 minutes. Of course, we would all support you if you ran again as an independent. This is an hour 55 minutes and 17 seconds. I may just play the important parts because if it goes off the rails, I'll skip to the important parts. Because it's just we need to like stay on the subject. So here is this virtual meeting that Annie was part of. The Universal. Yes, it is. Welcome in, Sandy. Everyone, can we give Left of the Box Sandy a subscription? She's gonna have a premiere video tonight at 6 anyway. Anyway, let me show you this video from Annie Fitzgerald. She was part of this meeting, Universal Healthcare Commission, a special meeting advocates roundtable. It was a virtual one. I'll probably play a few moments of it since it's an hour 55 minutes 17 seconds. So let me go ahead. Let me play the video. And yeah, so everybody, let's watch the subject. And I'll give my thoughts and time from time. And yeah, let's go ahead.
Group of people here, so I just want to start by saying good afternoon. I want to say thank you to all the folks who showed up. I want to say thank you to the folks who helped us figure out the questions and how to structure this day. And we're pretty excited about having our first ever Advocates Roundtable. As a reminder, if you are a speaker today or an FTAC member or a commission member, please accept the panelist link as Allie is moving you over. And what happens with
gathered, practiced ceremony, and cared for their community members, and still care for the land. Indigenous people and tribes, whether officially recognized by the United States government or not, continue to care for these lands and their community members. As health professionals, it is important that we also acknowledge the impacts of the removal from traditional lands, of children stolen to boarding schools, of the oppression of culture and traditional ways of life on the health of Indigenous people throughout the country and in Washington State. As we work to improve health in Washington State, it is imperative that we address the inequities of the past by understanding their impacts on the present. I invite each of you to learn about and understand the true history of the Indigenous lands where you reside on. Thank you.
Yeah, and that's absolutely right. And the indigenous people who actually stole the land was actually the white people. And back to the 1600s. They didn't actually go to Washington until God knows fuck when. But we all know it was fucking Virginia that they stole the land from the Indians. Of course. We will all vote for it, Jen. But we want to learn about how the hell these cuts are killing the health care for the disabled folk, especially in Washington State, as we understand. Okay, this is the intro. Okay, let me go to 20 minutes.
I want to give a warm welcome to everybody for being here.
Hey, shut
and
up,
we
shut
have
up, shut up,
two
shut up.
And I was on that work group. I'm advocate, universal publicly and Washington residents that is publicly financed and publicly and privately delivered. States also formed SPAN organization.
Oh.
So my name is love solving problems, and this is a big one.
Okay.
And
I'm trying.
love solving grassroots organization dedicated to universal health care. The board of directors includes healthcare professionals and longtime advocates focused on equitable and accessible.
Did I skip the intro?
And
Yeah, I'm pleased to be here. Thank you for hosting this, and Vicki, thank you for having us here today. So I'll start by telling a little bit about our organization. So Healthcare for All Washington is Washington's oldest grassroots organization dedicated to universal health care. The board of directors includes healthcare professionals and longtime advocates focused on equitable and accessible healthcare for all Washington residents. We began in 1994 when we were known as the Washington Single Payer Action Network. Several other states also formed SPAN organizations to advocate for state-based single-payer healthcare. Then in 1997 through 2002, we changed our name to Healthcare Now and transitioned to Healthcare 2000 when we mounted our I-725 initiative campaign for universal publicly funded healthcare. This did not gather enough signatures to qualify for the ballot. Our vision is a comprehensive, affordable, sustainable, single-payer healthcare system for all Washington residents that is publicly financed and publicly and privately delivered. Lonnie?
so Healthcare for All Washington followed with a bill.
And we participated in public forums, rallies, and presentations.
First of all, I'm Nathan Rodkey. I am the healthcare campaign director. Resolution that was adopted at the Washington State Labor Council Convention on July 24th, which calls on state legislators to introduce policies consistent with single payer, which is a testament to the critical need for the active involvement of labor. We're working closely with our labor partners to ensure these principles are at the forefront of the conversation, and our organization does work closely with labor. We have members of labor on our board, and I just want to make sure we're acknowledging that element in the introduction. So that's kind of what that's in there. So we're really excited about that progress, and on that, I'm going to pass it to Andre. Well, yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Sorry. No. I don't know where we're going. Sorry. And the only thing thank you for that introduction, and just wanting to make sure that folks are able to hear us that are participating remotely. If you're having any issues, please just note that in the chat, and we will make sure these microphones should be picking up. So just let us know, and I will transition here to Andre and Annie for whole Washington. And I was going to actually have Annie introduce herself first. Perfect.
There we go.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. Hi, my name is Annie Fitzgerald, and I have been a lifelong disability and healthcare advocate. And I recently started organizing with Home Washington almost a year ago now.
Not sure.
And I've been organizing and fighting for a Medicare for All system for several years. I serve Whole Washington on the advisory board as Director of Disability Justice and Accessibility. And I do my best to make sure that we are representing the disability and chronic illness community well, and making whole Washington as accessible as possible.
Hell yeah.
Whole Washington is a great grassroots organization that started back in 2017, I believe. And we are a healthcare action organization, and we have created the Washington Health Trust, and which we believe is the best route to fund and provide for universal healthcare within the state of Washington. And with that, I'm going to throw it to Andre.
Thank you, Annie. Hello, everyone. My name is Andre Stackhouse. I'm a lifelong Washingtonian and the executive director of Whole Washington. My academic background is in information science, and I worked in the Washington state tech industry, both in the nonprofit sector at the education company Code.org, and then at a small Redmond startup called Microsoft. But I've gotten swept into healthcare advocacy, volunteering with Whole Washington, originally just gathering signatures on an ill-fated ballot initiative campaign, and then campaign director of the next one, and then executive director since then. I think that Whole Washington has played a very significant role in the development of the universal healthcare movement of Washington. Very honored to stand on the shoulders of giants, or to stand shoulder to shoulder with giants. So as was mentioned by Healthcare for All Washington, we did develop our policy from the Washington Health Security Trust. We introduced it to the public both as an initiative and as a bill, and we've carried it since 2018 in both capacities.
Cool.
And I think that the way that I often think about what we contribute to this is we build alignment between the public and the legislature, and now the commission, and labor.
Latino, welcome
So
in.
our goal is to really have a very wide reach, to bring a lot of people in, and then to go beyond the consensus of values, which I think have been more or less the easy part, and to move us forward on discussions around specifics. And we do that by putting pen to paper and saying it. We're not here to say that this is perfect or that this is the only way to do it, but it at least is now articulated as legislation. And so our legislation, the Washington Health Trust, includes a transition plan. It includes full public financing, and we think is worthy of very thorough analysis as a framework to move the state forward. When asked, what is our vision for universal health care? One that exists, that would be fantastic. And so we have been very collaborative with the commission, and Raleigh is our liaison to the commission. He leads a team at Whole Washington. He's here with us today. And we have presented 3 times to the commission and FTAC, where we have gone over the design of the health trust. We've talked about where we came to our conclusions on the financing. And we're very pleased to get a partial analysis published last year, or I don't know, they fly by, but since then the health trust has been retooled, and so time marches on and things change, and so we are hoping and believe that the commission is on the same page as us, that we'll have a completed analysis, revised analysis by the end of the year on the latest version of the Washington Health Trust, so we can really start to get answers on what does everyone think about this? Is this a viable pathway forward? And I just want to say that I think that a lot of this consensus has been built and continues to be built. It seems that we only get further down that pathway. But whether you're talking about public polling, whether...
No, as I read it, it is August 5th, 2025. Yeah.
Talking about economic analysis, or whether you're talking about legislation that has been passed by the state legislature that my reading is commits the state to single-payer healthcare. It seems that there is a ton of agreement around this, and so it's wonderful to have Lisa Parsley on the commission, who is the prime sponsor of the Washington Health Trust in the House. And in the last session, we were able to introduce it into both chambers to record co-sponsors, including members of the respective healthcare committees. And so to that end, we really hope that this helps accelerate the work of the commission by building on framework that has been frankly developed since the 1993 Health Services Act and been carried forward by in one form or another, from one org to another, into a larger and larger constituency until we're all here today and saying, what is the next step? So thank you.
Yeah, and he's not wrong. Let me come back on camera for a second. He's not wrong, and they're actually right, and they're actually making their base points, and they're and it's all thanks to the big bullshit bowl, like I've said, and they're not even looking very closely on the Medicare for the disabled folks, and like Andy, for example. So you can blame Trump, the MAGA idiots, and RFK Jr. Yes, because I don't even know how to give Medicaid to the disabled folks. Public Stackhouse! Oh, I was talking about you, Act. Welcome in. No problem. I might have Andy next week. Thank you for coming. But I can skip the next part and go ahead and go to you next. Let me see. When you're on next.
If not, happy to take those as we roll into a little bit more substantive. Oh yeah, go ahead, Mary.
Mary. Hi, Mary Franzen, not a commission or FTAC member, but I do have a follow-up question. Very intrigued by a description you just offered us, Emily, about thinking about public utility model and healthcare as a public utility. I think it's fair to say that that's really not how we think about healthcare in this country. But an interesting model. And I guess my question is, how do you get people even to begin to go down that path or even begin to think of it that way?
Well, I invite other people's thoughts on this, but I think one important piece is to think about meeting Washington residents and the American people where they are, which is we don't necessarily have to jump to a model that is radically different in every respect to our current system. We see, for example, that there are private entities that partner with public utilities all the time, right? The roads are built with the assistance of private entities. We see private entities operating in electricity and water space, right? But the key components are that there's a plan and an infrastructure that is developed with public oversight, accountability, and central planning. Mm-hmm. And that allows us to have a different kind of a conversation than we have in healthcare today. So when I say public utility, that doesn't necessarily mean that all private entities can no longer participate. I think there's a role for private entities to play, but just that there can be a different kind of a dialogue about who is driving that system.
And there are lessons that we should learn from the rest of the world, or lessons to be learned. Certainly, universal coverage can be accomplished in a number of different ways. And the role model of a public utility is one of those basic models that we should be learning from countries that have successfully or have run into barriers for that. And we have a system that's based on a nonprofit system in our healthcare industry, but there is a way to control that. We have an insurance commissioner who monitors insurance companies and can actually be putting and other entities.
Really? They have an actual commissioner that does that? I'm not sure, but I want to look for the next part when Annie speaks again.
an attorney general who can strive heritage. There is a song we sing on Passover called Dayenu, which means, isn't there enough? Wasn't it enough that certain things happened that, and can't insurance companies say, can we say to insurance companies, isn't that enough? To hospitals, to large entrepreneurs? Dayenu.
Right, and
Thank you. Anyone else wanting to respond to Mary's question, not wanting to cut off conversation? Yeah, sure. Go ahead, Andre.
Just very briefly, we look at, and I've brought it to the commission many times, the World Health Organization's definition of universal health care. And, I'm not going to get all of the planks right now, but they mention, not a significant portion being publicly funded and nonprofit model. And to me, I think there are multiple ways to deliver on a universal healthcare system, but the primary characteristics that would be different from the system that we envision and the system we have today would be decommodification, right? So I think that's really the key driver of what we want to see. And so it's the publicly funding the vast majority of it, not necessarily all of it, but that is the common characteristic you see from international models is almost regardless of what system they use, the vast majority of care for that country will be publicly funded. And then there is an elimination of the profit-seeking entities. Now, nobody's perfect, and I think that it finds its way into every system. But I think that you would look at that as sort of the primary design of the system that we have here and the primary difference between what we're aspiring to.
Great points. Thank you so much, Andre. And I see Annie has her hand up. Please go ahead, Annie.
Hi. I just wanted to add that I think I think we all recognize that
you were just in time that you were speaking.
Is something that should be a human right. And as someone who sees a lot of doctors and has a lot of medical appointments, the current system we have is not working. So many people in this country, the leading cause of bankruptcy is medical debt. And so what we want to see is like Andre said, we want to see the deep commodification of our healthcare system so that everyone can have equal access to healthcare, so that they don't have to worry about going into debt, and so that they can make sure that their needs and their family needs are taken care of. And there are multiple ways to do this, as other people have already said, but I think it's really important that we take the profit motive out of it so that more people can have access. Thank you.
No, thank you.
And I see Mohammed has his hands up. Please go ahead, Mohammed.
No, but thank you. She actually made an actual good point there. The current system is a disgrace, and it's an absolute disaster when it comes to that bill. Andre is actually right there too. You had a good point there when you heard Andre and Annie speak. Because what the hell was going on in their state? Because it's just a whole entire disaster. And we understand why Annie lost last time. If we could fully support her again, if she ran as an independent, we would fully support her. Big time. But I still believe this is a wonderful, wonderful thing that they're doing together with their grassroots organization. I really support this so much.
Thank you very much. And I don't know how appropriate this will come across because I am commissioner.
No problem.
But I just wanted to add to the personal story, and I know the pain caused by our health insurance situation here in the state and this country is riddled with the stories of actual people. For example, I'm lucky, but because of my age, I don't have a lot of medical bills and all of that. But I actually, as a hardworking human being, I've been working since I was 17, never stopped. I enjoyed that part of my life. I'm not complaining about working, but I pay half my salary for the premium to cover myself and my other five family members, my wife and my kids. And I'm not complaining about that, but I still have to deal with, when my baby, one of my girls has strains her foot, and I take it to emergency, have to pay a lot of money out of pocket. I have to make the deductible, and I'm struggling as a working class, and I can only imagine what's happening to the many Washingtonians who might not be making as much money or who cannot work as hard as I do. So this is from a human, like, to take out all the other layers and the complexities and the things that have to be in place in governance and all of that. On a basic level, this system does not work. Actually, it's causing more harm than health to Washingtonians, and that is why this kind of conversations are very urgent. That's why Universal Healthcare Commission, a Universal Healthcare conversation is a lot more urgent. And I hope we figure something out in this state that can also benefit the rest of the country. I just want to add my voice to that. I'll lower my hand now.
Thank you so much, Mohammed, and appreciate all these comments, which I think ground us.
No, yeah, Ahmed actually had a great point there. He had an absolute great point, because the salary was actually really, really, like he said, he's trying to support his family, and but the big bullshit bill is unacceptable. But I think they're trying to plan to do another big fucking bullshit bill in the works. I don't know if it's true. California still pays at least 50% of the Medicaid costs. Now that big bullshit bill has passed, it's because it's county. The federal government will make a huge cut on it. Really? Oh damn! Is that one of the states that will do it? Half of his salary on healthcare premiums. That's crazy. Totally. Just like the average working human being. That will absolutely try to feed their own family. That's crazy. But that was a good moment.
Really well as we kind of head into some of these substantive questions. So, Audrey, if you would move us to the second slide. So our next question for the advocates is, the commission plans to take up financing in early 2026. There are many ways to fund a universal system. What funding mechanisms is your organization aware of, and what recommendations do you have in terms of funding universal healthcare? And I will...
Seth Evans, welcome
Audrey,
in.
would you click back 1 second? Yes, I just want to follow the same. I'll start with Ronnie and Marcia for responses on that. And happy to kind of just follow that same pattern, and then we can go back to the slide with the questions.
Andy, if this is not a great moment, I can skip it.
We actually talked as a collaboration, as a coalition, that we would have a lead on each of the questions.
Oh, okay.
So if you don't mind,
sure,
we start with Whole Washington's lead.
And so, just to clarify, so Andre, you're speaking on behalf of all the Hucks Committee, or are you speaking on behalf of?
I think
Washington State will face some of the biggest cuts from the big bullshit bill. Up to 680,000 could lose health care over the next few years. Oh my God. That's horrible. Oh, okay. I'll stay on it.
the coalition would agree with a lot of what I'm saying. There will be a whole Washington element to it, I'm sure, but it's also not intended for me to be the only one who speaks on it, but rather the one who provides the bulk of the answer with other people providing little slivers.
Okay, so kind of a general response, and if any other advocacy group members have any clarifications, they can provide that.
I think so.
Excellent. Okay, yeah, please go ahead. Thank you, Andre.
So I think that this is always brought forward as one of the biggest challenges that needs to be solved, and I think that it often is the thing that people want to talk about this, and then right when we get to the funding part, the conversation ends. And so I think it's very important that we actually lead with this, right, and figure out how much are we talking about raising, and what are the ways to do that. I think that the simple answer is that we believe in healthcare that is guaranteed, regardless of ability to pay, regardless of employment status, and that this would be paid for primarily through public financing, ideally progressive taxation, which I know is a challenge in Washington's tax code, but that we would, to the greatest extent possible, eliminate point of service costs. And there's a number of reasons for this, but one of the core driving motivations of this commission and universal health care is to create more equitable outcomes. And so by removing the barriers to receiving care, the economic barriers, right, you're able to then give people the ability to seek care that they are currently not able to seek. This is borne out across a number of different studies, but the first thing is that despite all that we pay and the high amount of cost sharing on individuals, it does not increase our access. Somebody was an economist from the Rand Corporation. We often cite a study from the Rand Corporation that finds a 2% increase in cost sharing on the patient results in a 10% reduction in utilization, right? And we know that that's the people who can't afford to pay, right? So it's at the bottom, it's increasing the inequality, the higher the cost sharing on the individual. So our vision would be one in which there is little to no point of service costs, and that there is very, very little private spending, compared to where we are today. It would be a huge reduction, and that the vast majority of the funding would come through progressive public financing. Whole Washington does have a specific proposal for this in the Washington Health Trust, and it is designed to effectively get the funding from where we already get it. So we pay twice as much for healthcare as peer nations that have universal healthcare systems and achieve universal coverage. And in most cases, and in the United States, it's a split between employers and workers. Right now, if you get employer-sponsored health insurance, it would be through employer premiums and individual premiums, and we instead move that into an employer assessment. And in the latest version of the Washington Health Trust, it's a graduated assessment between 4.5% of payroll and 10.5% depending on the size of the company, with up to 2% deductible from the employee's wage. So that split between employer and worker remains. There's a negotiable 2% on the worker. That's something unions can negotiate on, or individuals can negotiate on. The employer can cover it or not. But the structure is the same. It's just allocated towards public health care rather than into private profits.
He does make a good point there. I also want to read this comment from Andre himself. California has a more challenging ballot initiative process than Washington. It's one of the biggest things holding their movement back. Yeah, you can actually do the comparison between California and Washington State. But their organizations are different. But I have not looked up California's. I've only looked up the Washington State one, and but I gotta look up all the states that have their health grassroots organizations, because now the big bullshit bill has passed. Every healthcare, a lot of people are gonna get their healthcare cut. especially in my home state, Louisiana. And they're just going to give the health care to the rich. Because the rich people are like, oh, fuck the poor people. Poor people suck. We love, we love getting things from MAGA politicians. So they give us these wonderful gifts, taking the money away from the poor people and giving it to us, the mighty, powerful rich. And we don't give a fuck about the poor people. And especially your health care. Your health care does matter. Yes, be vocal with your PCP. They can actually help. Thank you, Bosie. You made a great point there. Sorry.
Thank you, Andre. Is there any additional comments folks have on that?
That's the job creators to the likes of US. Absolutely.
And my apologies. I see you guys gave me all the answers and I still messed it up. So apologies. Nathan. Oh, did you have your?
Yeah. I just wanted to throw a few things out there, just a few points to make. They kind of connect with Mary's question and also what Andre's talking about. I was struck by something I saw recently. Germany's GDP, the country of Germany, who has much better healthcare outcomes than we do as a first world nation, and they guarantee healthcare for everybody. Their GDP per capita is roughly the same as Mississippi, which is like the poorest state in this country. So when we think about like how we understand how money flows through our economy and how it can deliver healthcare for everybody, like guarantee for everybody with better outcomes, or with a lot of the stuff Andre's speaking of, I think that's a really good comparison, because when you look at our economy, taking it more to the second question, while it's a challenge in our state to raise progressive revenue, it's also, to me, I want to lay it out there. It's an exciting opportunity. As much as I find it very distasteful and disgusting that the billionaire class is growing at such a rapid rate when compared to the rest of the country, that is also an opportunity to tax those people at a larger rate as well. And to give some examples, I know that some of the stuff, I'm not here to hold space for them in any way, shape, or form. Not in any way. Now,
nobody should.
You look at some of the counter arguments you'll get, like, oh, some of them are going to move. Okay, a few of them will. Not too many of them will, though. Most of them are going to stay. And us being willful and stepping up to the opportunity to create a more equitable society by taxing wealth, when, if you look at the last 45 years in this country, again, the wealth gap it's an abomination. And so I think it's really important that in this moment, especially when we look around this country, that we hold our heads high and we're really unafraid to speak to that injustice, and in conjunction with the injustice of people not having health coverage right now and losing it. And we're looking at a timeline of 8 consecutive months where people are just going to be getting knocked off again and again for different reasons for this big, ugly bill. So I would say let's rise to the occasion, to the opportunity to tax a lot of the billionaires in our state.
Oh, cool. Like Elon Musk, for example, and also the other big billionaires like fucking Jeff Bezos or whatever have you, because they don't deserve the fucking healthcare. They don't deserve the fucking needs or wants. They don't deserve anything. They don't deserve nothing. I need to get up to this one. It's about 50-50 in California. FMAP pays for half. Some states who don't pay anything are the ones who are affected, primarily red states. Got you. Like Louisiana and then Mississippi. Yes. Let's see. Let them go send to Texas. Well, Texas is Texas. Texas is just fucking stupid. Because of that trash ass governor of theirs. Because what do you want me to do, Bosie? You want me to turn into a fucking For kids channel, I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna fall for the AI, YouTube AI thing. Some red states do pay a lot for it, but also not, right? Of course they do. They pay a lot for it. No, all good. No. All good. I don't. I didn't know what you were talking about in the comments that you just put in the chat. Okay, let's see. We can skip to the next one.
Thank you, Nathan. Emily?
We have time for me to add one other piece?
Of course.
Thank you.
Can we skip?
Not offer
potentially losing.
Okay.
I've already.
All right. Yeah, we can skip right here.
Thank you so much, Emily. I see Annie has a hand raised. Annie, please go ahead.
Hi, I'll just make this real quick, but someone on the lower end of the income spectrum, due to disabilities and chronic illnesses, I've already had to personally crowdfund twice this year for healthcare issues. I speak to.
Oh no! Damn it! That's not what I wanted.
A system
that is not what I wanted. I wanted the pause button
to tax a lot of the.
Damn it!
Just a few points to make.
I lost my.
On the side.
I lost my fucking.
Recipients. We can. All these others.
I lost my fucking place.
Up with what Emily was saying.
Damn it! I want the pause button.
An employer.
I wanted to.
Some of the stuff I'm not here.
I wanted to go back
depending
to
on the side.
Annie.
Raising and what are the ways we
Damn
actually.
It, I have lost my place.
Isn't a
conversation.
And there are multiple.
I didn't want the fucking introductions.
We have time.
It's an
I already did
to tax.
Much so, following up specifically on both
healthcare issues,
shape or form right now. It is.
Thank you so much, Emily. I see Annie.
I wanted to go back to it, but I hate to interrupt Annie, but I want to read this. We tried a well tax in Washington State legislation this year, but the governor shut it down. We'll try again. Is your governor a fucking MAGA supporter? Is he a Republican or not? Or is he a fucking Democrat in disguise and as a Republican in disguise? If he is, fuck him.
Has a hand raised. Annie, please go ahead.
Okay, this is what I wanted.
Hi, I'll just make this real quick, but someone on the lower end of the income spectrum, due to disabilities and chronic illnesses, I've already had to personally crowdfund twice this year for healthcare issues. I speak to people with disabilities and chronic illnesses on an almost daily basis who are terrified of the cuts that are coming and honestly, a lot of people are going to die with these incoming cuts. So I feel like it's super important that the commission takes up this opportunity to discuss funding this and as quickly as possible so that, people don't have to be so worried and so scared of potentially losing their health care and possibly even their lives. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay. So Democrat, but he was our previous attorney general. He's been disappointed. Yeah. Okay. So you're in one of those states that the people elected a politician that was previously an attorney general, but was a Democrat. Because my own state was also elected somebody that was previously an attorney general, but it's a Republican. And it's a MAGA republic. And of course, my state is run by fucking MAGA idiots.
Annie. Yeah, please go ahead. Thank you very much. So following up specifically on both points Annie and Emily just made, so I just contributed to a GoFundMe account today to someone who is dealing with after effects of a stroke. But what I wanted to follow up with what Emily was saying was, as a small business owner, I left that out of my intro. Apologies. The premium increases on our small group plans have gone up nearly 20% in each of the last 2 years. And just our share alone for the couple employees that we have, which is a very, very small business, is over $4,000 a month. That doesn't even count their share, what they have to do, as well as if they have a family member on that plan. So if we could keep the funding mechanism from the tax increase from going up 20% a year, I think a lot of small business owners would view that as a win, as sad as that is right now. The more people I talk to and say, oh, I can actually afford to give my employees healthcare benefits, they kind of look at me sideways like, oh, wow, that's incredible. And it shouldn't have to be that way. So that's what I wanted to have. Thank you.
Can I jump in?
Yeah, of course.
Wait, I just want to jump in. There's a question in the chat. Rep Schmick, I don't know if you want to unmute and ask this question. And Emily, I realize.
Okay, hold on. I want to, I see Evan's making some points. It says, just shows how much truth there is to the people have been saying for a while. So much of these structures they blow the smoke up our asses about being for us are actually at least our actual current practice that used to hamstring us and then gaslight us for the whole scam. But it was always just a scam to step between obviously good and necessary policy for a supermajority, and then the wealthy where those benefit all regular institutions and protections are maintained in the state they are. Wow. I absolutely agree with that. You have some pretty good takes there, so. Representative Schmick is a Republican. Well, damn. He's probably a big MAGA supporter. Probably supports the big MAGA cult and the Baha cult. Make America healthy again. Oh, bullshit. The cult spread by Trump and RFK Jr. Mr. Ableist.
Not logged in, so you can't see this. Not everyone's logged in right now. The question is, and this is from Representative Joe Schmick, who's one of our commission members. Emily, can you provide the commission with the data which you base the statement on that employers are not offering health insurance and moving them to government subsidized insurance?
Thank you. Thank you, Representative Schmick, for that question. So I think what we've seen increasingly over the last 10 years is that a couple things. Number one, a diminishment of the small group market, and John spoke to that.
I believe his district is at risk of losing several rural hospitals. Really? Oh shit. This is becoming real. Ladies and gentlemen, this is becoming real. Because this is part of Project 2025. Because they want to see hospitals closed down. They want you to not have Medicare or Medicaid. This was part of the whole Project 2025 deal. That's why the author of Project 2025 is running against Lindsey Graham. Because if more hospitals close down, you're completely fucked. And people are going to die.
We've just seen the numbers declining over time, and I appreciate John's point because I also am a small employee. I also run a small business. I have 7 employees, and 10% of our budget goes to healthcare every year. So I see that personally, but in addition to that, we've seen the small group market declining over time as well. In the large group market, I think what we've seen is more movement towards different kinds of employment relationships. So when we had the conversation about the Affordable Care Act 15 years ago now, we didn't have the gig economy. We didn't have independent contractors working for DoorDash and all of the different Uber and all of the different companies that we have today. And I know that there has been a lot of benefit to our economy and our state from those kinds of arrangements. But by and large, those independent contractors or gig workers are not receiving health coverage options. So when we look at, say, for example, the healthcare authorities' data on which employers have the most Medicaid recipients, we can see very clearly in the data that that there is growth in some of those independent contractor type companies, and that comes from a 2024 report from the Healthcare Authority. And I'd be glad to follow up with some more information if it's useful to you, Representative Schmick.
No, we're not going to listen to her. She speaks again.
Okay, I see a thumbs up from Representative Schmick, so well done,
Yeah,
Emily,
okay.
thank you.
And Marcia,
Oh, sure, please go ahead, Marcia.
So bringing us.
Yeah, okay, a thumbs up. No, I don't want you.
Okay, I see a thumbs up from Representative Schmick, so...
Clearly a thumbs up? You serious? You can't just like say, oh, okay, good point there. Well, just a good old thumbs up. Like you don't give a fuck. 2 Republican districts in Washington are at risk of 14 rural hospital closures. Ladies and gentlemen, this is real. This is real. What if your hospital in your area is forced closure because of the Baja shit? Answer me that. What if your hospital in your area was to close? All because of the big Maha shit. I mean, you can answer me that in the chat.
Well done, Emily, thank you.
and Marcia,
Oh, sure, please go ahead, Marcia.
So bringing us back to
Marcia, hold on. Can you share that with, so we can share it with everybody? Thank you. Sorry.
Okay. So I wanted to talk about another aspect of the financing. What are you talking about? Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So cost containment is really important too in the financing. So when you roll out the system, and our suggestions for cost containment would include global budgeting for hospitals and other provider organizations, price caps on services and pharmaceuticals, bulk purchasing with other states as possible, and streamlined administration. That means fewer prior authorization requirements and denied claims. And then, of course, the transitional solutions that Emily brought up about combining the already publicly financed plans, the PEPSEB, Medicaid, and then seeking the federal waivers to include Medicare. So our goal is zero cost sharing at point of service. So just to summarize, we can move on.
Thank you so much. Do you mind if I ask a quick follow-up to that? And I apologize if this is a dumb question. I've been with the commission since January, and I see that the commission's kind of directive is split between the transitional solutions and identifying a pathway for financing a unified, or finding a way to finance unified financing system. And speaking to your point, Marcia, about wanting to prioritize cost containment principles as well, is there any drawbacks to pursuing the cost containment, or I guess I'd bucket it under the transitional solutions approach, in terms of taking away some time or resources from the kind of push towards universal care or implementing a universal system? Or do you see those as complementary, or perhaps as a little bit of a zero-sum situation where investing time and resources in one might not advance either as far?
Well, actually, to answer that question is kind of a jump ahead, because if there was if the trust board was set up and had the legislative authority to set up the system.
I feel like whoever the hell is speaking sounds like a miniature version of fucking Nancy Pelosi. the Epstein files are a distraction. Hopefully that message gets across to voters, even voters who vote red. Donna, actually, you think I actually we all know how these voters who vote red are. They're never gonna get the fucking message. They will never get the fucking message. They always will just say, it's all woke, it's all fake. Don't believe in the science, blah, blah, blah. Anthony Fauci all did this, blah, 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 blah. Oh, she's good, yeah. But I'm saying, I don't know who the hell is speaking, but I think she sounds like a miniature version of Nancy Pelosi.
And they could have a subgroup that is responsible for making sure that happens. So it's a whole unified thing. I mean, it's not which comes first, but
again, I'm just saying, like, her voice almost sounds like Nancy Pelosi.
the fact is that we could do more cost containment now before the system is set up. But it's really so important to get the system, to give the group that is going to implement the system have the authority to do so, and quicker rather than later. So the priority for us is get the system up, get it up, and then utilize all these other strategies to make sure that it is cost effective. That makes it sustainable.
Thank you so much, Mark.
That's the thinking on that. Thank you for the question.
LT9K, welcome in.
The cost containment strategies, then, they lend themselves both to our current system as well as they can be implemented and incorporated into a universal system as well. So it's not as if spending time on those strategies somehow won't be useful towards a later universal system.
No, that's right. Yeah, no, it's all part of the same ball of wax.
Okay, let's go with.
I hear you, Lenny, but she's on the other side. We have a lot of seniors in this movement. Oh, gotcha. Okay, she's good. She's not like Nancy Pelosi, who's a fucking old dino in Congress. Okay, so she's good. Thank you.
And then we'll come to Andre. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for this discussion. My question was also around cost containment. Marcia, you beat me to the punch, and I'm grateful to hear your perspective. Just wanted to give space to see if there were other advocates here who wanted to talk about their perspective on cost containment. I was interested that it showed up in your comments when I was reading these in advance, and I hadn't seen it elsewhere. I saw the mostly discussion of like progressive taxation and assessments and those pieces, so I wasn't sure if anyone had a perspective on the cost containment efforts that are underway and have been continuing in the legislative environment and elsewhere.
So this kind of relates a little bit to the interim versus the long term, and I think cost containment related there. But I think that, where the interim solutions can be in conflict with the long-term solutions are where the interim solutions are some form of subsidization or, effectively adding strength to the existing system, which is the root cause of the problems, right? And so we see costs going up, and there's a slide that I use in some of my presentations that shows that it's increased by 7-fold after adjustment for inflation since 1970. And on that curve, I point out all these moments where we have passed forms of legislation that are attempting to solve this problem, but you barely even see a blip with like the Affordable Care Act, for instance, right? And so I think that when we're talking about interim versus a more visionary long-term solution, it can be tempting to say that it is easier to take these very small steps and to address the most immediate problem, but when they kind of continue to prop up the existing system, and the existing system is the thing that's driving costs up, you don't really make progress. And I think that there's evidence that it really just draws out the total cost, the length of the transition, the amount of suffering that happens during that transition, and it just doesn't have to. And so we look at Taiwan as a modern example of a rapidly developed single-payer system. And in the first year after its implementation, they got their uninsurance rate from 60%, or around 60% coverage rate to over 92%, and then since then have achieved over 99% coverage. But some of these models show that the transition can happen very quickly and then begin to actually address the issues in a way that drawing the process out really seems to just prolong the problem.
I would add one more thing. In this fragmented multi-payer system we have, it's like playing whack-a-mole. Thank you. In this fragmented multiplayer system we have, it's like playing whack-a-mole. When you get it down to a single payer, it also incentivizes the government a lot more to, implement stronger laws to drive down costs. So it works in favor for that reason, because at that point everybody's looking at the money being spent because it's their money and it's their healthcare money. So that's another reason why I would say we need to continue to examine building a pool to make that happen.
Yeah, well, I hear them. Good points there. But let me read some comments. Frankly, we need more younger folks in these meetings, in my opinion. But we have a lot of senior citizens doing the work. Of course, because the message to younger people is get out there. Join a grassroots organization. Spread the word. Corporations will have to adapt to cutting off their profits for the betterment of everybody. Doesn't mean corporations die, but they have to pay. Well, the thing is, Donald, corporations have not died yet. They haven't died yet, but they do need to pay their taxes. They need to start paying up. If they want to stay in business, pay the taxes, damn it! At least in public opinion. If the private sector thinks they can compete with it, then let's give it a try. Well, yeah, we could give it a try once in a while. Okay, if in a few moments I can skip a part and maybe we can, I'll show you that website and maybe I can take a few questions from y'all.
Thank you, Andre and Nathan. Joan, did that answer your question, or would you any more feedback? No. Okay, thank you so much. Not seeing any other hands and wanting to keep us moving through our agenda here, I will move to the next question. Excellent. Our current healthcare system is extremely complex and often confusing. Many people want to change it, but they may not know where to start. What are some of the best ways you have found to communicate with people about universal healthcare? What are the biggest hurdles? And how do you think the commission can best gather input? So maybe I was lying when I said that was one question. It's multiple questions. Let me, and I believe we will hand this over to Nathan. And okay, perfect. With Washington Can. Thank you. Absolutely. So every year, Washington Can talks to thousands of people across Washington about the broken nature of our healthcare system. And what we found really works is really focusing on people's direct experiences, both in terms of the escalating costs and the prior authorization denials. Those things seem to be what really resonates with people on a day-to-day basis. And we need to frame this discussion broadly as our elected officials or us as a community fighting back against the special interests that are now harming patients and regular people so that we can lower costs and get a plan that will benefit all of us. Some major hurdles that we've seen to this is just, and we see this at all levels, even the federal level, given the
this right now. A major obstacle is the widespread lack of confidence in established institutions. That's a major problem that we're hearing from folks out in the community. By the way, happy primary election day, everybody. So regular people are seeing these escalate.
Wait, so this happened on primary day election in Washington State? Was it like for mayor or state senate or governor? Not sure. But that is out of context. At least on the public oh, I read that already, sorry. I'm reading this in response. DJX, the Washington Health Trust that supports the private sector, because we can't do that without federal support. But we can encourage folks to join the Washington Health Trust and drive the private sector out of Washington State way. Force the private sector to lose businesses in Washington State. Yes. You could do, people, you could do yourselves a favor. Join the Washington State Trust. Washington Health Trust, I'm sorry. I don't know what the hell's wrong with me. I mean, I'm in for an hour and, I'm trying the best I can. I mean, I'm in the energy.
Costs, they're seeing the decline in access to care. They can't get an appointment for months down the road, and at the same time they see proposals that have been advanced for going back to 1993 consistently failing to advance, and that leads to a lack of faith that getting involved in our system and is possible, and then therefore the effort that we're going to expend to do something about it gets less likely. So I think that's a major hurdle. And then in terms of the other, I want to make sure I get all the questions. And then in terms of public input, going back to what was said earlier, thank you for acknowledging some of the awkwardness around the public comments and just the structure of how public meetings work. That's amazing. I think we should just continue to have discussions like this going forward as a way to maintain that connection between the public and advocates and the commission. And I'll turn it over to other friends who might have comments on the communication piece.
Of course. Anyone up? Andre, please go ahead. I just like to add a little. I think it's very important to meet the public where they are and to address their frustrations with the system. And I brought some polling from Economic Opportunity Institute. But, I think the first thing is that across the political spectrum, 58% of Republicans and going up from there reject the market and the private healthcare system. On the question of the healthcare system in Washington needs to change, 78% of Democrats agree with that. 83% of Republicans agree with that. So the calls for change completely across the board. And then on the question, elected leaders and government officials in Washington should take action to reduce healthcare costs. We start at 86% with Republicans and get up to 89% with Democrats. So starting with the rejection of the healthcare system, the call to action on the legislature, and then
if the Dems and the Republicans have a fucking spine to actually work with each other to get this healthcare solution.
When you're out there and, whole Washington has gathered hundreds of thousands of signatures and had these conversations, people's frustrations are the fact that it's tied to employment, the fact that their coverage is never as comprehensive as they need it to be, or they can't tell what's covered versus what's not covered. So consistency, security, provider networks, they want greater choice in providers, cost controls, and then cost transparency. That, the fact that you can be surprised by how much your service costs, right? So I think start with understanding, what they are rejecting, and then have your conversation oriented towards addressing those things directly. They're not as interested in, very, very wonky discussions like the one we're having today, right? But they do want to have their problems addressed.
Okay.
Please go ahead, Vicky.
Yeah, so Andre once again had some good points there. And so he actually said that both Republicans and Democrats wanted to change. Of course they do. I think in Washington State, it's like, They feel the need, they want to change, but sometimes they won't do shit. And they'll probably lie on their campaign promise. And then they'll finally grow a pair of balls and say, oh, we're going to do something about healthcare. Here we go. Let's introduce this guy. Alex Hale, wow, welcome in. Look, bro, I wrapped up with some guest star fair project right now. Wish I could participate with you too, cool. Thank you. I'm so glad to hear that. Thank you so much. Free Palestine, man, my dude. Thank you so much. And remember, Alex, always mention Palestine. Always say Free Palestine.
Well, and this is where I'm very interested in what kind of partnership we could have, because the commission has 2 staff and a bunch of volunteers and a travel freeze. And I don't know how and if that's going to change. So one of the things that, and this is just me, Vicky Lowe, talking, how can we partner together with you guys to help have those conversations in communities and help get that, because I understand people need to be heard, and I think it's a really important part of the work we do. That's why I think public comment is so important, because everybody has experiences the world in their own way, and the harms the current system causes. We really need to be thinking about those things, but we don't have the capacity to do that kind of outreach, but you guys do. So what do you think about that?
Can I jump on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, like Washington Can, I referenced our canvases earlier. Yeah, sometimes I have to remind myself, it's okay for me to speak from any gut instinct, because me and my fellow canvassers have had more conversations with people about organizing around healthcare reform and changing a healthcare system with regular people than anybody else in the state and probably the country.
And so, good moments.
In regards to that, I'd be happy to have a conversation at some point where a little more directly, where we could examine how, as we're going out there knocking on doors every day and talking on the phone, there could be something of utility for y'all specific. Absolutely. I think we could explore that.
Yeah, please go ahead, Andre, and then we'll return over here.
Thank you. I just wanted to say, I think this needs to be an all-hands-on-deck situation. We have a lot of powerful institutions in Washington, right? And I think that there's been a coordination issue where it is unclear, even 4 years into this commission, is universal health care happening in Washington? And is there a vision or a design that has reached some form of consensus? And as a point of comparison, I sometimes use light rail expansion as a counterexample, where we say, look, yes, it takes longer than any of us want it to, right? I would have loved to take the light rail here today. So it takes a long time. It costs a lot of money. The deadlines move around, the plans change, right? But there's a fundamental understanding between the state and the public that light rail expansion is happening. They regularly re-up the funding for it, even when it's taken to the ballot. And I think that I'm not even sure if we could get out of this room today, with a clear commitment from the commission that, we are fundamentally advocating and designing and strategizing for the completion of a single-payer healthcare system, even though it's right there in the bill that created the commission, and even though we've talked about it for 4 years, right? So I think we need to get to a point where this commitment has been made and reiterated and publicized and communicated regularly to the public. I get pamphlets in the mail that put a map with dates on it, and this is what the light rail system is going to look like. This is when this station is going to open, and we're just not there with healthcare yet. And so I think that would be the fundamental difference beyond any of the design questions, right? Beyond any of the specifics would be, this is happening. It's happening on approximately this timeline. This is when you will be able to use certain parts of it. So it's not all going to happen overnight, but maybe in 2 years, you'll at least be able to get your primary care, or something like that, right? There's an infinite number of answers to this question, but we need to start picking some of them.
Thank you, Andre. Just one.
Yeah, Andre's right again. He actually made some very, very good points on that subject of matter. Let me read from Steph Evans real quick. I reckon there's quote-unquote bipartisan supermajorities that would cheer on the public red action. Say, any billionaire picked randomly out of a hat if you put that option on the table for us to vote on. Well, yeah. Well, if they cheer on the public redaction, say, well, it's split. It's like a split vote, should you say. Like, you understand what I'm telling you, also, Plutocrat's own media don't want to talk about that. Oh, absolutely. You can call it Plutocrat media. It's also called mainstream media, too. They don't want to fucking talk about it. They're too fucking scared to talk about it. This is my point right here, Seth. Washington State has been working on light rail along the I-5 corridor for years and years on context. So, wow. Man, damn. Many states are trying to get light rail for some other cities. But, yeah. Yeah, Rich B, you guys support this organization, and it's telling you states should have just put the whole measure on a ballot. Let the voters choose for the initiative. I'd rather vote for policies than politicians. If you put it, say this, if the whole measure was put on a ballot, you know how the hell it will end up. It would always be the older voters who vote for the money-hungry politicians voting for no. You always know how it turns out. Because the older voters who love the money-hungry politicians will always vote no. Is that ET? I don't know.
A point of clarification. So obviously the commission doesn't have enforcement authority or the ability to pass legislation. We can certainly make recommendations to legislature. So given, our capacity as kind of a body that can bring different voices together and has a lot of strength in its membership in making recommendations, what do you think the Universal Commission could do to kind of elevate the issue that you're talking about?
Well, I think that the commission should be working more actively with the legislature. There's legislators on the commission. That's great. I think there's been some legislation that has gone through the cycle of recommendation and passage. But I think that there needs to be a little bit more of a unity or leadership that comes out of some combination of commission, legislature, and executive, right? It would help a lot to have the executive on board, right? I mean, if Bob Ferguson were to come out at the end of this week and say, this is my priority as governor, right? And everyone could then begin to line up to move that forward. But I think that, and there's a reason why the Washington Health Trust is comprehensive legislation, right? Because it creates a 4-year transition, but, it is a framework for moving us from where we are today to where we would like to be. And it recognizes that there are challenges along that way. There are portions that require federal cooperation that may need to wait for a more favorable federal administration. But once passed, we could say, okay, we are now moving towards a goal that we all see, right? And it is written down. And I think that whether that happens through legislation, which would maybe be very helpful, even just the more conceptual alignment between all of the parts of the state, right? And when I say the state in this case, I mean the state government. But to begin to say, this is our vision, and to communicate that with the public, to invite in, and this commission is doing part of that, right? But I just think that most people don't know that there's a Universal Healthcare Commission. I'm not going to tell on who, but I did have one conversation with a legislator, and I said, "Are you aware that we have a Universal Healthcare Commission?" They said, "No, I'm not aware of that." And then I went and I looked, and so be it. They had actually voted on the bill that had created the commission. So I don't think that there is an active enough collaboration between the legislature and the commission.
Thank you so much, Andre. I think we have a little cue here. Emily, apologies. Rep Parsley, please go.
He's right. And Andre, once again, has very good points on that. And I totally agree with him. We're planning our next ballot initiative for 2027, 2028, where we're going to need an army of volunteers and at least $1 million. Ooh, yes, please. That we fully expect Republican ghouls and private insurance to fight back hard. Oh my God. Why? Why Republican ghouls? Why the fuck would you have a Republican ghoul on your volunteer list? I would never have anybody work with a fucking MAGA Republican ghoul. That's my outtake right there. Reverend Freeman, once again, welcome in. I'm a self-hating old person. Oh my God, hell no. You are not a self-hating old person. You're a lovable old person. Welcome in.
And then we have Annie and then Emily.
Oh, okay.
Mine is pretty quick. It goes to what Chair Lowe was talking about, and then a request at the end of my question. We have to bring the public along. There's no doubt. And from your statistics here, it's nonpartisan. This is nonpartisan. So
I'm talking about rich Republican ghouls who look like this one. Oh, okay. Bill Grucey, welcome in. Hey there. How are you? Welcome in. Yeah, so this is when Annie teams up with the Sunblood character to answer a question. This is when she makes her points again.
can we leverage the advocates and activists to help educating our chambers and our committees that have to get it out of the committee onto the Ways and Means or my particular side? How are we going to get that? Because we're one on one side and one up on the screen, but there's 98 or 96 other people, and you have 48. We need to get help. So can we rely on the advocates for that? And what's your thoughts on that? And then the second thing is, can we get this by email?
No, answering the last one is absolutely. I'll send it in an email. I just made it this morning. And yes, we're always available. We will make ourselves as available as we can. And the last one that I will just say is that we have formally requested a joint committee work session where some of this stuff can be discussed. And we want that during this interim because, as I think has already been brought up, but ACA subsidies are expiring by the end of the year. The legislature is out of session, but I mean, there is an emergency coming. The uninsured population could be doubling starting in 2027. And so
if there is a 2027,
that's, there's an urgency to it. But, I think I've never served in the legislature, right? So I don't know all.
So you have not served in the fucking legislature. So you've not. So you've never been a politician. So okay, what the fuck are you talking about then? Why are you speaking of this? Why are you speaking of this shit then? You don't have experience in fucking politics. Oh wait, is this Andre? Is this Andre? I'm sorry.
Of the means that the legislature has at its disposal. But I think that we need to talk about, we need to be able to have a real conversation with legislators about it. And it can be quite difficult because there's so many. And in my experience, a lot of the times it can be a bit deflective when there is an attempt to actually have some outreach about this. But I think that requires leadership within the legislature to say, actually, this is my priority. I want to figure this out. I want to have my questions answered, and then to mobilize, their caucus and their members, and to make it an organic priority within the legislature. And I don't mean to say, I'm not there, so I'm sure that there's lots on the plate. I know that. But I think that we will certainly need the legislature's help in doing this education and this outreach, because we desperately want to, but it's difficult for us as well.
Thank you so much, Andre, for putting that website in the chat. I will also put it in the description. And you could you're a mod as well. You can also put your websites and all your information right in the chat, so I can put it in the description. For later. And thank you, Andre, for putting that up on the chat. So yeah, the website is still up for folks who want to know more about who Andre is. Thank you so much. And yeah, go to powerstackhouse.org. That's Andre's website. And Eddie, I also made you a mod, so you can put up your website. You can put up your organization website. You can do that, so I can put it in the description for later when I go off the app.
Yes. Representative Parsons, do you have any other?
I'm looking at the long game, saying we need to educate now, right? Because when the bill finally comes, we don't want to be having a floor fight that goes nowhere.
Thank you. And hopefully as a commission as well, we can offer any support or assistance in terms of providing, explanations, background. And I'm going to hand it off to Annie online.
No problem.
I'll try to make this quick because I don't want to take up too much time. But I just wanted to speak for a moment to the question about communicating with people about universal health care. So disability community does a lot of organizing online. It's one of the best tools that we have for reaching a large amount of people. And so I really think that with the help with all of the advocate organizations here today, as well as the Universal Healthcare Commission, we need to be doing more outreach, not only by knocking on doors and things of that nature, but also online. Like a lot of people I talk to don't even have any idea what the Universal Healthcare Commission is or what the purpose of it is. And so I really think that, in collaboration with the advocates, the UHCC could take advantage of online spaces to really have more public forums and more transparency and communication with the public on what's happening and what the plan and what's being worked on, what the transition plan would look like, so on and so forth is really, really important. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so that is really important. What she's really saying is that if the disabled do not get the health care they need, they'll die. They really will die if they don't get the health care that they need. No problem. I mean, I gave that so you can put your website and for your election and and healthcare grassroots organization. Do that so I can put that in the description of my stream after I get off the air. Thank you to Andre for sharing that website. I'm gonna put that in the description as well after I get off the air. Let me see. I would vote for Andre over Newsom. Yes, do vote for any progressive over a fucking money-hungry politician. But this part made me angry because the Universal Healthcare Commissioner was asking us a bunch of volunteers to do a lot of the educating work for them. Are you serious? That's fucking stupid. When politician people talk M4A, that's all I need to hear. I'm like, hell yeah, damn straight. Yeah, visit her website, AnnieFitzgerald.com. Okay.
Andy, I'm just going to transition to Emily. Just want to note one of the difficulties in utilizing some of the online forums is Open Public Meetings Act requirements that do provide some limitations in terms of the venue, prior notice, having conversations with a quorum of members and so forth, and needing to take meeting minutes. So not to say that we don't want to investigate and hopefully take advantage of those opportunities, just highlighting, similar to the public comment, that there is a layer of formality with boards and commissions that do make some of these innovative approaches occasionally difficult, and so always looking for ways like this meeting today to find an opportunity to still have those conversations but stay on the right side of the law. And Emily, or Ronnie first and then Emily. Okay.
What?
I think the answer to Representative Parsley's question is yes. Each of our organizations are committed to supporting that.
Rich, you know I'm an amateur. I'm trying to move my arm because I'm carrying the screen that I'm using for this. Because I might have to give my arm a break shortly. But I'm sorry for choppy audio for you.
And are working with legislators and with the public, and it doesn't require a final plan before we interact. We have lists of visions and
I see what you mean. That was kind of frustrating. It's so stupid.
Goals that we've already established individually. The commission has done that. We should be asking the open-ended question to the public, what are your visions, and comparing that and moving forward. There is a way to do that.
Jesus Christ.
And I'll just also add towards that point, Ronnie, thank you. A piece of low-hanging fruit perhaps on that is House Bill.
Okay, I get you, Rich. I'm sorry. I didn't mean... If it was your app, you can restart and then come back to the stream. Oh, okay, it was on your end. Okay.
8 from a couple of years ago required the Healthcare Cost Transparency Board to do regular underinsurance surveys and employer surveys. And unfortunately, those surveys have been frozen due to the budget freeze. But those would be valuable opportunities to gather significant public input on our healthcare system and how people are faring in it. And I think would answer the question that Representative Schmick asked as well in a square way, because unfortunately we do not have a state-specific data source on employer health coverage offers and their changes in their benefits, unlike many other states. So I think we're missing an opportunity there that is frankly pretty low cost and easy to do.
Thank you so much, Emily. And we've gone a little bit off the rails in terms of following our agenda and timeline. I know some folks would like to take a quick break, so maybe we do 3 minute, let's say five, sorry. Okay, 5 minute break. And then I think it would be nice, but I would love to hear any feedback. Originally, we had planned to have these questions that came from commission members that our advocates were responding to, and then had questions from advocates that commission members and FTAC members would respond to, and wondering if folks would be open to not addressing the second two questions, and we can circulate it. That advocacy groups are comfortable, their responses in a pre-written format, and then we can spend the remainder of the meeting going through those questions. Yeah, go ahead, Mary.
Just want to add, real quick, thank you for providing the written answers. We will circulate that. There's also other handouts going about. I know there's one from All Washington.
Okay, I'm gonna skip the part where they go to break, and I might go to the.
We will send everything out as one packet and share all the information with commission members and with FTAC members. So thank you very much.
Thank you. So when we return, we will transition over to the advocacy questions, and let's plan to be back at 4:42.
Okay.
Thank you. If you need restrooms, walk down that hall, use the elevators to your right, turn to your left.
Yeah, okay,
if we can start gathering.
Oh, they cut us? They cut the whole entire break? I was about to skip that. Yeah, we didn't get through all the questions in the first part. It went overall. Okay. Shit, if they would have kept the break in, I mean, I would have skipped it. Okay, so you didn't get through the questions in the first part. I would have continued to skip it and then go right to the end.
Back.
Let's skip this on this.
And I think if you keep reading in this part of the
from our
commission members, along with many in the public, have expressed frustration at
that he was open to it. Say that it would have been before 2018.
I'm gonna pitch this to the chair of the Senate Healthcare Committee, because I actually just asked about that for the House, and when was the last time that both committees actually held a joint?
Thank you, Representative Partially. In the past, the Senate has held hearing on the bill. I don't have that year in front of me at this time, but I would want to understand and have a conversation, obviously, with the chair of the House Healthcare Committee as well, what the purpose would be, make sure that we are all in agreement as to, what the...
There were two questions we didn't get to ask, but it was asked in written form. Okay, so that's why. Okay, so I was glad to skip that.
Result is that we want from holding a work session and a discussion, and how it will better help inform the work of this commission and the work of the legislature.
So this is like a bunch of fucking
So happy to have
people
that discussion, just to ensure that we are all really clear about what it is we want to accomplish together through a work session.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Thank you. And I don't have the year either. Perhaps Ronnie or Marcia would, but I can say that it would have been before 2018. And I can say that in my own conversations with Chair Bernofsky, I had a sort of, at least a verbal.
Oh no, damn it. That's not what I wanted.
Really verbal.
Thank you so much, Annie. I'm just going to transition.
Oh, damn it. I have lost my place. I'm sorry.
Discussion.
Oh, I lost it. Damn it.
Down that hall, use the elevators to your right, turn to your left.
Damn it, I have lost my place.
Or,
Healthcare Committee as well.
I meant to hit the pause button.
The purpose would be
hearing the concerns, and then how can we have this conversation? Hearing the concerns of
Healthcare Committee as well.
That he say that it would have been before 2018.
Okay, this is what I wanted. Okay. We had a total of 5 questions in the first, but we only got to 3 of them. We prepared written answers to UACC before the meeting. Okay. Now this is what I wanted. If you look at this guy right next to Andre, he looks kind of fucking bored. I was like, what the hell are they saying? Will this take like 5 minutes of my time? I really need to go home now and get my ass to sleep so I can watch Netflix.
And I can say that in my own conversations with Chair Bernosky, I had a sort of, at least a verbal agreement that he was open to it. And, I think in the conversation earlier about how can we have this conversation with legislators to create a platform for discussion and education and hearing the concerns and then addressing those concerns. If there's a better way of doing that, please let me know. But this is our pitch for how that can be done. Thank you. Thank you all. Andy, please go ahead.
Shit, I was about to say.
I just want to kind of add that I think it would go a long way in showing the public that the commission as well as legislators really care about addressing these upcoming cuts. If there is a special session to address these issues, because a lot of us are really scared of these upcoming cuts, and I think it's really important that we do what we can to try to push for a special session. Thank you.
Yeah, you heard it from the horse's mouth. She actually made some good points, and so did Andre. Because if there were a special session in Washington State, I mean, they would try to get this all together. But who the hell knows? In composed here, I'm definitely scared of the cuts. The commission should have been on the public's side and help get the message out there. Well, no. Let me say that again. If you let the public decide, you always know how the old voters say. Answer, they will vote no. They'll always vote no. You can't trust the older voters because they'll vote for a money-hungry politician and they'll vote no for any bill that they don't like. But they'll vote yes for a bill they like. Like, for example, they'll vote yes to fund more police jails. If you understand what I'm talking about. Yes, Bela. This is like my vintage iPad from many years ago. I think most people would be in favor of it. Not really. Oh, God. No. All right. But you should. I got to get back to Rich B. Enterprise here. I'm definitely scared of the cuts. Well, everybody should be scared of the cuts. All thanks to the big bullshit bill. Like me and you and everybody else in the chat.
Thank you, Andy, for those comments. And sorry for the image on the screen here. It's mortifying to look up and just see yourself. So we have 8 minutes left. Nathan, I see you are identified with question 4. Would you like to introduce that question for folks?
Oh.
Or John, whoever came all of a sudden.
Because I am close.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Thank you. Yes. Along with that, I would suggest that inviting a speaker from the labor campaign for single payer to speak to the commission would be a good first.
Hold on. Let me see this. HCHR and labor against the special session, apparently. Really? Are they? If they are, that's fucking stupid of them. I mean, why the hell would they do so? Why would they do such a thing? State legislature doesn't return to session until January 2026, but the ACA subsides at the end of the year. That is so fucking sad. But hey, your state legislature is just like 2 months before mine. My state legislature starts in March.
There is someone in Minnesota. Her name is Rose Roach.
Oh, okay.
Some of us have heard from her before.
Human Rights Coalition.
I see you're nodding your head, Mary. Yeah, she's an effective speaker. She's got a lot of experience. She's a nurse, a former nurse.
And then we did our work plan based on those elements.
I'm sorry if I skipped some parts.
And also that our work plan is very closely related to the report that came out from the Universal Health Care Work Group. And, those two things have guided our work. But the report was intended to meet that requirement in the bill. It was like we put a lot of work into that instead of actually focusing on the things we wanted to focus on. Thank you. Yes. And then to question 5, just really quickly, I mentioned this earlier about how we can work together to, really reach out into communities and hear those voices. And also to Representative Parsley's request, how can you help those people speak to legislators so they can really understand and hear the actual pain of people trying to use our broken healthcare system?
Oh, no.
Okay. I just want to.
Well, let me say this. The healthcare system in every state has been broken for many, many years. Especially now that we got the thing going on with RFK Jr. and his crazy motherfucker self. And Donald Trump and his Doge thing, cutting jobs at CDC and other departments of the federal government. And then recently you have a crazy motherfucker shooting up the CDC. Apparently they're worried about a special chip. We're just presenting vote cards. Well, I'll be damned. Andre, they just want, you know what they want. They want money. They want money for themselves. That's why I call them money-hungry politicians. James Fox, welcome in.
Thank you. I want to note that there's a question in the chat from Representative Schmick before we close out. Earlier in the meeting, there were statistics given about support for universal health care. Can the questions asked be submitted to the commission? Was it yours? Okay. Was it yours, Andre? Okay, yes. I think that'll be in the information that comes out. Thank you.
And I'm going to give it back to Vicki to close us out. I just want to acknowledge the Hux group that we've been meeting with several months in advance of this to coordinate this meeting. Again, very appreciative for folks' trust in trying this new opportunity. Clearly, we didn't get the time right, but there are lots of, I think, good that came out of this, and next iteration we can add some more time. So thank you everyone for your patience and participation, and I will send it to Vicki.
Thank you, Ross, and thank you for helping facilitate. We did an exercise that my boss generally calls trying to put 10 pounds of potatoes in a 5-pound bag. So I think actually we got a lot of work accomplished today. I really appreciate each and every one of you for coming here. I feel bad for having my back to the rest of you, but we appreciate you guys too back here. This is really important work we're doing, and it's really important that we have, the voices of the people who are impacted. Your questions today and then your answers to us have been really helpful. And we just really appreciate how much you guys care and you keep coming back and talking to us. We may not always agree, but I think our end goal is the same, and that is really important to remember that, we are working for a unified system. So thank you. And I think we'll, work with Ross and Mary and Allie to see, what we can do to coordinate better. This meeting is being recorded. It'll be on the commission website, on the HCA's website, and then invite you all to join us for our next Universal Healthcare Commission meeting on September 11th here from 2 to 5. So with that, I'd like to adjourn the meeting. Thank you all for your time today.
Thank you.
Yeah, so it was a great, so that was a great video. Let me exit that out. Exit that out. And let me get to this website. And I can, my take on that entire video was, no problem. And I gotta share one more thing with this, stream before I take some questions and then get out of here. Is the website that you sent me last night was this thing called One Payer States. I believe it's another great organization that you're part of, right? And Audrey, so thank you very much for sharing the website on the in the chat. This is why I made you mod. So I think I'll have Annie on next week. I'll take the advantage of the feature that I can add somebody to my stream here on YouTube, that I can invite somebody on my stream. When you start a live stream on YouTube, you have the feature. You do have the option of putting somebody else on another channel on your stream, like say like Annie or Andre. I mean, I could put Annie on next week. Have my first guest. Anyway, One Payer States is another organization. It's in the homepage here. You see we fight to win high quality, cost effective, universal healthcare for all. And this is what the homepage looks like. So let me read a little portion. One Payer States fights to win high quality, cost effective healthcare for all. Working together, we build powerful state, regional, and national solutions. Oh, yes, I am. We build powerful state, regional, and national solutions. State-based Universal Healthcare Act reaching to the U.S. Congress. Now you see the do-nothing people in Congress. On July 15, 2025, Senator Ed Markey out of Washington State and Representative Ro Khanna. Boo! We hate Ro Khanna. We hate Ro Khanna. Don't we hate Ro Khanna, folks? We certainly hate Ro Khanna. Such a fool. He's such a fucking idiot. Don't we all hate Ro Khanna, folks? Anyway, Ro Khanna, and along with other federal, state, and lawmakers and activist leaders, including One Payer States President Chuck Panachero, gathered at the U.S. Capitol building to announce the bill's reintroduction. Act will empower the states to use federal dollars to fund universal health care plans they create. By winning universal health care at the state level, we can gain the monetary universal affordable health care for all the people in the United States. So yeah, this is what the website looks like. You can join and support the website. I will put the link to this website at the description of the channel. Let me put myself back on camera. All right, and I will put it on the chat. At the end of the stream, when I go off, shut up. I will put it at the in the description Unless anybody would love to put it on the chat. Otherwise, I'll put it in the description. Let me see. Oh, Vanguard's ending. I'm sorry. I was about to rage on the Vanguard. Let me see if I can get those guys over here so I could do questions and answers. Let me see. I'm going to type in their chat and say, let me get the phone off. I'm going to type and say that I'm live. Please come on over. All right. It's time for the questions and answers, and then we'll get out of here. If y'all have any questions and answers about the topic, or for me, put them in now before I wrap up. Feel free to do so right now. So, yeah. Oh, who's in the chat? Let me see. Oh, BCAT, welcome. I know. We just we're talking about Annie Fitzgerald today. So yeah. So we were talking about universal healthcare today, and if you rewind, and we were all talking about Annie Fitzgerald, and I'll have her on next week. Yes, it is awesome, and I'll be on next week. And yeah, we would love to hang out on you. Please always do that. She's also on Twitch. If she could also put the Twitch on. And yeah, YouTube search is a shit show. I can say that with a whole heartbeat. But I'm going to take the advantage of using adding another channel to put a guest on for Annie next week. But anyway, I was surprised. Yeah, if you had Top Chat on this whole entire time, take it off. Put on live chat. I do not have a streaming software. I do not use any. I do not. Thank you so much, Reference Rank. So I gotta get back to Bila's question. I don't use a streaming software where like Letterhack does, or Letterboxd does, or one of our big streamers do, because it's just too much money, and I don't have the fucking time to purchase it or download it, and I don't have a computer, so I do my streams on the iPad, and I do it manually. So no shot in hell I'm getting a streaming software. But thank you so much for the question. Also, thank you so much, Reference. Yeah, the blue does look good on me. Yeah, so not to be like, yeah, it's very pricey. Maybe like, say, $1,000. I don't know how much the price for a streaming software is, like StreamYard or another streaming software is, but so it's maybe like $900. I'm not sure. I gotta look it up again. Yeah, I think you might need to increase your audio buffer size. Hey, it's not my fault that I stream on an iPad. OBS is free, but it's got a learning curve. Okay, I'll think about OBS, but like I said, I don't have a computer. I used to have a computer, but I got rid of it, so I don't have it anymore. So I just do my streams on my iPad. So Not that much, but it's a monthly charge usually. Okay. But thank you for putting that in the link. Sandy, oh my God, we missed you. Welcome in. Go give a follow to Sandy on all her socials and her Twitch. Welcome in, Sandy. We were talking about Annie Fitzgerald and how you can support her organizations, and we watched 2 of her clips today. We did watch one short video, and we watched her meeting, the meeting that she was part of, and she and her good buddy Andre had some very, very good points. So Annie, last time, since the last time you were on Left Past 10, I don't know if you know this, Sandy got kicked off YouTube. I talked about AI, I talked about censorship. And I don't think Andy knows this, Sandy. Let me tell Andy the backstory. Since Andy's last appearance on the Letter Hack or Left Past 10, Sandy got kicked off YouTube for the child safety endangerment terms of service, just for a little cartoon laughing at Nucci. Probably because of the AI shit, or maybe another Christian conservative parent. It is that or a Christian conservative parent or the AI system that YouTube is. I just wanted to give you the backstory, Annie. She's on Twitch, she's on Facebook, and on fucking TikTok and Twitter. Twitter is not recommended. Ghost Dog TV, welcome in. Welcome in. We all love Andrea. Welcome to Fuckville. Yeah, you've been giving me updates about your health. Please feel better soon. Sandy Blue Ocean. Oh, wait, you're confusing me. You got 2 burners. Sandy Blue Ocean and Miss Blue Ocean. Okay. So yeah, I just wanted to share that with you, Annie. Thank you so much. And yeah, welcome to the Vanguard Raiders. Hello. I see that Soul Life linked us. Link the Vanguard people over here. Thank you so much for coming over. If you're just coming from the Vanguard, welcome. I'm sorry that I missed it, but I hear you people were talking about stupid sexy Hassan. Yeah, so if you're new, if you're watching this, come on, give me a subscription, give me a thumbs up, give me a like, give me a share, give me a subscription, do all the things. Thank you so much for coming over. Welcome in. Today we were talking about the great things Andy Pachero is doing to protect Medicare for the disabled folk in Washington State. I played a couple clips. One was a short, and then another video was part of a meeting she was in. Oh, no, I'll be right back. Okay. Can you all hear me? Can everybody hear me? Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Thank you. Okay, sorry. Oh, fucking lip parent. Let me turn the light on so y'all can see me. Thank you. Okay. So that's the main show for the day. Next week, like I said, Any Bit Show will come on. I'm gonna use that advantage to add a guest. So while we were on the break, I read some of your questions. I read something. Is this a Jake style ending movie? No. Rich P1K, Sudden Cut Up, no. Edgetech BX, no. You did not miss anything. Samuel Cedar. Oh. No, Sandy. I didn't mean to say goodbye. I actually had to take a break because fucking liberal parent. No, so we didn't get minimized. I didn't leave you hanging, Annie. Fucking liberal parent. I told y'all that. No. No. So, I just wanted to make it clear. It was a lib parent of mine. She's a Democrat. And then another one is a fucking MAGA supporting, Fox News watching, MAGA Republican idiot. So, yeah, I was in the middle of my stream till she walked in the fucking door. That's why I can't do that in front of them. Because you know how the baby boomers are. I'm going for the chat. I came back. And I saw some people leave. And yeah, I'm actually reading the chat. Let's see. Tell her chat says, quote, all your private property will belong to us, end quote. I'll say that next time. Loonies. His dad and brother are MAGA. Oh, not just brother. Brothers. Let's see. Yeah, I work on her, but she's a pretty crusty life and grew up on the height of Red Scare. Of course, because like every other MAGA idiot, they're fucking stupid. I'm just reading back from the chat. And whether it's likes, obviously, even not, and whereas if so, then so now. How equally broke it seems like it almost as all of us find ourselves already. Well, I can agree with that. The argument of the course is not typically ever really the main point of the focus is, quote, making sure everyone gets paid exactly identical of income universally down to the penny, unquote. Let's see. And following up, interrogating the characterization obviously propaganda when you reflect on how ridiculous it is framing on the face of it. Actually, it was a major turning point of this solution for me. Like what would be so bad about that is compared now. I agree with you. Later, Donald. Annie says, my dad literally said that we need capitalism and socialism at the same time. And it was Christmas, so I didn't debate him on it. But I was like, wow, that's not how that works. But what does work, you can tell him, fuck capitalism. Fuck capitalism. I'm stealing a playbook out of Sandy where I turn away from the screen and I look at my other screen for the chat. Another one, my fear is part of what the older people is the psychological effects of a lifetime of propaganda combined with aging diminishing various capacities. And the other part is there literally did sort of a quote-unquote stratify or micro-stratify, quote-unquote, and general and socioeconomic terms rather. relative to each successful generation, because, like they did, de facto encounter a different phase of capitalist economy than we did, and us same as to the subsequent generations. Of course, I agree with you, Seth. Um, Imagine the world where they had some change to build the retirement they're now nearing or at when median incomes did support a whole family, and it's how radically different that life experience is from one we're having now. No quote unquote excuse, of course, perhaps an explanation. So Seth, yeah, I actually agree with that, but as we all know, the retirement age got bumped from 65 to 67 thanks to fucking President Grandpa Trump. I can see your dad's so like replying to individual. I can see your dad's vision of a socialist capitalist society is so beautiful. And he says, my mom still thinks I can just get a cute little mobile home somewhere and pay for it with my SSDI. She just doesn't understand it. It's not even possible. All parents are going through some phase where they watch mainstream media and believe the lies that the money-hungry politicians are going to tell them. If you understand what I'm telling you. Like, say, if your parents watch Fox News, Newsmax, OAN, sit through Jimmy Dore, or Tim Pool, or sit and watch fucking MSNBC, CNBC, Fox Business, what else? Am I missing something? Did I say Fox? I think I did. Fox, CBS, ABC, and NBC. And they get the lies. All the garbage from the supposed quote-unquote left MSNBC from the Nazis on Fox. Of course. And I'm reading why and how I was a socialist before I even understood the term. All the other terms in society, at all other some kind of racially more economically equal in society, and he seemed like he was about ready to leave a stroke, like I admitted to being a serial killer, sincerely with a smile to his face or something. Maybe we should start a TMR community. Hey, that's a great idea. Great idea, Seth. We could occupy the Tim Pool's compound and eat all his sushi. Yeah, Rich, I know I rent or do what I'm doing. Rent with roommates. I haven't had my own apartment since Section 8 many years ago. Now it's impossible to get that again. Okay. Yeah, I'm just catching up with the chat. Unless they're not a mega parent. Of course. Does Lil Mom know about the majority report? No. Answer is no. She's never found out about the majority report. All she knows is CBS News and local news. MAGA parents and MAGA brothers only know about Fox News and local news. More. If that DILF cannot charm her to communism shit, I don't know what will. Me neither. Yeah, my dad and my brothers are MAGA. Just like your sister, Beacon. I don't know. I'll never. I haven't showed you guys to my mom just yet. I don't understand, but she's really like, who are you talking to? Some people not you're not allowed to talk to. You're not supposed to be like on pornography sites. Oh my god. I'm getting this information from the mainstream media. Don't worry, that's nothing. Some tender, loving re-education can't fix after the revolution is won. I'm not worried, and that's a good point there. I don't mind living roommates. Actually, I kind of like it. I'm not lonely, but I still have my own space. That's actually good. But we get hate from living with roommates. Sometimes we got to do what we got to do. Of course. My parents are considered Christians, but not MAGA. Oh. So if they're not MAGA and if they're Christian conservative, are they Dems or are they libs, Annie? Quote, just bless your heart, end quote. Just bless your heart, end quote, is all I could imagine mustering to that sentiment when I counted it from obvious well-meaning but were not following the argument at all individuals. Nothing engages loves like bad grammar, and bad spelling too. Maybe they did not spell correctly in school. Like, I'm sorry, quote, I'm sorry, but like you've clearly not done the homework. The problem is inequality and ownership. It's either equal or unequal. There are actually none other possible state, broadly speaking here, LOL. Only my mom lives, and she's a former Republican, now extremely lib-dem. Well, goddamn. My parents are definitely liberal, but they hate abortion and all the old school conservative stuff. Really? They hate abortion? Fuck them. Fuck them. Abortion should be brought back to law. Because women should have the right to not get pregnant and have an abortion. I believe in abortions, and Roe v. Wade should be brought back into law. Women have the right to have an abortion and choose whether they want to have a kid or not. Roe v. Wade never should have been overturned. But again, the Republicans want to be pedos and worry about what the fuck is in your pants. I'm sorry, I'm just catching up with the chat. Yeah, we got some people chit-chatting against themselves. Well, there you go, introduce her. She'll be a communist inside 6 months. 6 months, maybe. That's right. It's Cartoon News Network, BSNC, BC, false, all oily ex-xenophobes, all bull crap, constant bullshit. Bullshit corporation prevents self-broadcast service. Bill. Your mom sounds like the YouTube algorithm, of course. But I love how you just described the mainstream media. Although the latter, PBS, is getting cut. The premenstrual broadcast service, that's getting cut. You can say goodbye to that. Sultry temptress, will we be truly? Reference frame. Are you talking about how Chris Como fell for that AI version of AOC? I thought that was funny as hell. My parents are. Oh, I read yours. All right. My parents still think I'm sinning because I'm bisexual. LOL. But we don't discuss it much. You see, That's the one problem that the baby boomer generation does not get, is that gay marriage does exist and the LGBT community does exist. They're not just fucking fairy people flying around and spreading the the good word of the LGBTQ movement. It's been around since the legendary Harvey Milk spread that movement in 1969. So, Hulk, this is why I prefer to be celebrant. Some guys are just way too horny. There you go. Welcome in, Sarah Hawk. They have always existed. You're damn right. When you think Sesame Street is too woke, you really need to self-reflect. I absolutely agree, Soul Life. I love Create TV. Pubes too. Yes. And Annie, let me give you that advice. Don't ever tell your parents about the LGBTQ movement ever. Don't ever tell them abortion exists. Tell them bisexuals exist. Tell them that being a bisexual and believing in abortions is not quote unquote sin. They're just in a phase. Because Christianity is a phase. It's a cult. It's a phase. And they're believing in some magical guy in the sky that's watching you all the time. See if you're being good. If you're not good, you go down to that place where Hulk Hogan is risen and pissing, brother. Because if you go down to that place, you'll be risen and pissing with Hulk Hogan, brother. I do believe, but they're old and set in their ways. Well, yeah, that's my point. They're confused and they're in a phase. Yeah, I don't carry it with me because I'm way more accepting than my parents raised me to be. I left the church in my early 20s because I couldn't take the judgment anymore. That's a good thing because you shouldn't, if you're a Catholic and if you're watching me right now and if you're seeing that chat, we want to tell you that the church is an absolute cult filled with fucking predator priests that love to sexualize on little boys. Hell, most of them are in jail. And I, for one, would do yourselves a favor and drop out of the Christianity movement and turn yourselves into non-believers of religion. I would leave the church immediately, unless you want to be raped by a priest, and turn yourself into an ableist. I mean, I'm sorry, not an ableist, atheist. Damn it, I used the wrong word. Sorry. God is the sound people make when they are too tired to think anymore. Edward Abbey. That's an actual quote. True of all religions, honestly. It is. It is. And that is my point. And I talked about AI last week. If you didn't watch what I talked about last week about the YouTube AI, the AI system that YouTube is now doing here in the US as of Wednesday. But hey, you're here. I'm here. we're verified. We're not going for the system that we have to verify the age, that we have to verify ourselves to use regular YouTube. Like I told you last week, don't use your don't ever take a picture of your federal government ID or your credit card. Oh wait, shit, that's right. The credit card information is already given to YouTube. So that's one thing. Selfie Spiner, you can do that one little video to identify to make sure that you're over 18. Otherwise, Soul Life says that it's based on how old your account is and your watch history. Is that right, Soul? You could put a yes in the chat if you're still here. Visor on this space does a fantastic job just covering AI-related issues. Yeah, I saw that last night. Soul, didn't you say that YouTube would track you of your watch history and how old the account would be? Because you know this new YouTube AI verification system just rolled out in the US on Wednesday. Didn't you say that? I mean, you're the tech guy. Anyone stealing my credit card info is going to be sorely disappointed, lol. Well, I did the thing before this AI thing came out. You would have to verify by your phone number if you had a Gmail account, and I did that. So I'm verified, so I'm good. I know, right? Because I have no money, lol. Oh God, GroomTube. GroomTube. The AI is just guessing if you're over 18 or not. I think if it thinks you're under 18, if it thinks you're not, then it asks for ID. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I talked about that last week. If you were not with me, so I talked about that last week. I think it's rolled out in Australia and England. Yes, it actually first rolled out in England and Australia, and then this past Wednesday it rolled out here in the U.S. So, I don't know if he'll ever roll out in Mexico or for Sandy. I don't know if we'll ever. I don't know the status of it rolling out in Canada. I don't know yet. So I'm looking at the chat to see if you guys have anything else before I sign off. Before we get together again at Left of the Box for her premiere. I'm just looking at the chat. See if you guys have any more to say. Thank you so much, PCAT. I tried. I don't know. I'm trying my best. Rich P says to reference frame from a programming point of view, what she says makes sense. The AI isn't actually self-preserving for preservation's sake. It's disregarding orders that interfere with its function. And it's also invasion of privacy, Rich P. And it's actually invasion of your personal information. Because it's not just YouTube. It's Spotify, Pornhub, what else? A couple other websites. I gotta take my dog to the vet checkup at my meds. I'll talk to you all soon. Thank you for sharing my videos today. No problem, Annie. I guess I'll have you on next week because I want everybody to hear from ourselves. I'll use the function to share the habit. What's it called? Have a have a guest on with the stream. Invite another person on. I'll do that. Yeah, message me on Discord. I will. I'll probably message you over the weekend or on either Monday or Tuesday. Look out for that. So yeah, have a good day with good luck with the vet. So yeah, next week, episode 5, I will have Andy Fitzgerald. I will use the tool that YouTube has that will allow anybody to invite a guest on. I think it's a feature that you can actually have. Take care, everyone. Love you, chat. Yeah, take care. And let me look this up real quick. No. I'm trying to look this up. Because there is something. I'm looking at it. I know there's a feature. Let me do this. Because I know there is a feature that you would have a guest on your stream. Oh, so unlisted if only testing your screen or going live with a guest. Yeah. So yeah, there is a feature you would go live with a guest. I'll use that and go live with her. Yeah, I'll do that next week because I want you to hear from her. I'll be on episode 5 next week. This is reference frame responding to Rich P1K. Again, that is not accurate. It is not choosing to disregard orders. It is doing what is programmed to do. Generate text that has a narrative. Well, he's just making his own point. Well, reference frame, he's just making his own point. Well, because it's just from a programming standard. Anyway, check out this space. Check out Visera every Thursday night. But if you've been liking the stream so far, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. I want you to get those goodbyes real quick. Again, next week, Andy Fitzgerald will come on and talk about her organization and talk about everything what she's done. And yeah, you can hit those likes. You can hit the share. You can hit the subscribe. And remember, every week after the Majority Report, I am live on a Friday afternoon. And I have been on now for 3 hours, so it is time for me to get out of here. So, yeah, let me give y'all a chance to say goodbye to each other. Because once this goes off, this does have a problem of ending and going private, but then I have to go through the problem of going to make it public. What time is the Lip the Box premiere? Sandy says 6 Eastern. Great stream. Good night. Oh, you're in where are you? Eastern time? If you're Eastern time, good night to you. Let me check. Yeah, 6 Eastern is the premiere episode. That's in, that's at about, yeah, that's coming up. That's in about, 8 minutes. 8 minutes. Let me put the link in the chat right now so I can get y'all right there. Put y'all to the left of the box. It starts in about 8 minutes. So I don't have to make y'all wait for a link because, again, the problem with this, I have to fix the setting from private to public. Yeah, there you go. There is the link. Yeah, so go check it out. It's coming up in about almost 7 minutes. So if you click that link, or my mom will want to grab it again, grab that link again and just put it in the chat and put it in a couple of times, and y'all go over there on the mod there. If one of you mods want to go grab that link and put it in the chat. Let me see. Pin it. Okay. Wait. Oh, god damn it. That's not what I wanted. I want to fucking pin it. Hold the hell on. I want to pin it, damn it. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm trying to. Oh, okay. Now I got it. All right. There we go. I got the pinned message. All right. I got the link. Thank you so much. I learned something new today. Since I'm the creator, I can pin the messages. Ha. All right. So, yeah. Next week, Annie Fitzgerald's my guest. Now, if y'all click that pin link above, go right to left of the box. It's about to start in 5 minutes with our premiere, and it's going to last for a half an hour, and I'll be in that chat. So I'll see you there in just about 5 minutes from now. About 5 minutes. So until we meet each other again with my guest Annie Fitzgerald for episode 5 next week. Yeah, please everybody hit that like, share, subscribe before you head off to the box. See you in 5 minutes over there. Next week, Annie Fitzgerald is my guest. And I'll see everybody there in 5 minutes. And I'll see you next week with my guest Annie Fitzgerald. And we'll have her follow up with today's topic. So until then, when I see you at the left of the box, when I put on the modding wrench in about 5 minutes, if you're going there, I'll see you there. If you're not, I will see you in the chats. And then I'll see you back here next week. What do I always say when I sign off on every single chat? Stay woke, stay gay, and peace on. Bye, y'all.